and welcome everyone. Thanks for coming. So to start with, I'm working in IT business for like more than 20 years, and at one moment we decided with our partners to build something new, something like with Internet of Things. So it's a good topic for me. So we chose to build a car sharing solution. So I'll explain now a little bit about what the car sharing is. I believe many of you already know it, but I'll keep pointing some of the major points. I'll show some features of our platform, and since it's the Wialon conference, I'll point the importance of being in a Wialon family. So first thing, what the car sharing is itself. So car sharing is a car rental where people usually can rent a car for a very short period of time. Okay? Why it is important? It is important because the statistics shows that 95% of all the time the cars are not used. So it's a lot of waste of money, everything. So typically you go to your office, you spend like half an hour, 1 hour, you come back. So in total you are using your car 1-2 hours per day, and 22 hours the car is simply standing without any use, right? So it's a waste of resources. The other thing is, especially cities, governments are now concerned about traffic. Traffic, because we live in economy nowadays are much better than it was like 50 years ago. So now every family has at least 2 cars, sometimes 3 cars, yeah? So all the streets are now parked with the cars. So it's a lot of traffic, and that traffic produces a lot of pollution, the city. So now everyone is concerning about the planet, about the better, I don't know, mobility issues, so it's really important. And the next thing is that the new generation, Generation Z, the people that are born after the 90s, they're thinking differently. They are used now for everything to get as a service. So they don't need things, they need a service. So they don't need a car itself, they need to have the service to get from point A to point B. So this is why now car sharing gets more and more attraction in the world. When we started building this car sharing solution, we started from the scratch. Yeah, we had the idea, we started writing the code, and at one moment we faced that there are so many different devices in the market, so we will not be able to support all of them, and we must focus on the main features. So at that moment we found Wialon and decided to use Wialon as a gateway to read all the telematics devices. So it's a huge plus because we now can support like more than 500 manufacturers, like more than 1,000 devices. And why Wialon? Because it works perfectly. We never had a problem. It works fast. It has flexible APIs. We can I don't know, connect and do almost everything we want. It has deep configuration capabilities, so we can, I don't know, configure different sensors differently, and then you don't have to write any code then. Tracking and monitoring is also one of the features, because we're not duplicating the features of Wialon. So we're building only features related to car sharing. So if the customer wants to, I don't know, to use traditional features of like, I don't know, tracking the units, I don't know, some notifications, reports, so they can use Wialon for that. And one of the most important things we love about Wialon is the partner community. So it's probably mostly #1 value, because our business model is that we create the software, but we not do ourselves the installations, and we do not sell the devices. So we rely on you, we rely on our partners in the different countries. So I'll just go quickly through the overview how our solution looks like and how it works. So we have the application for the end users. It's a mobile app. So the end users who want to use the service, they're using the mobile app. And the fleet owners, they are using the portal for settings and other things. The mobile app it looks like this. The user journey is typical like this. The user creates the profile, like I don't know, name, address, driver's license, images, etc. Then user can locate on the map where are the free cars that he can use. Then he decides to choose one of the cars. Yeah. So we show the path how to go to that car. He makes the reservation, and when he comes to the car, he clicks the button to open the doors. Doors are opened. Customer gets into the car, finds the key, starts the engine, and goes. And during the trip, we are calculating how much kilometers, how much time passed, etc. So we can calculate some business things later. And at the end, user must return the car. So we show the active parking areas where he can leave the car, because we use those areas to force users to return cars back to where they belong. So we do not allow cars to leave anywhere. And that's all. User finishes his trip, he leaves the car for the next user. Yeah? He's paying for it or not paying, it depends on the business model. The fleet owner portal. So the fleet owner, first of all, he can...
No, the question is that do you have to have a designated places, let's say in a city, where the vehicles have to be parked?
Yeah, you can decide. I mean, you can create many places in a setting. So the fleet owner, he can manage his cars. He can add additional cars to the platform. He can, I don't know, disable, enable cars. He can turn those cars to some private modes, etc. Through the platform, he can remotely send commands to the cars, for example, lock, unlock, mobilize, and etc. He can manage users, so he can see all his clients. He can, I don't know, do the checks. He can reject some of the clients to block from using his service. He can add some users to the internal whitelist, so those users can, I don't know, use free of charge, for example, or see some specific hidden cars. He can see business reports like, I don't know, how many trips there was for all the cars for a specific car, I don't know, time, distance, etc. And how much money he got for this business. He can set settings like own prices. He can set models like to set price like per kilometer, per minute. He can set the minimum price, the maximum price, different variations for different type of vehicles. He can set those go zones, the parking areas where users can take and leave cars. He can set some notifications in the system. And we can also see some reports, the damage report and the fuel report. So when customers are using the vehicles, they can take pictures of some damages, and those pictures are coming to the platform. And we also detect and save the information about how many liters were refilled to the fuel tank by what user at what time. So he can just simply try to, I don't know, to check with the bill from the gas station to see if there was no theft. Now, talking more about Wialon integration. So when we started building it, there was no Flespe at that time, and so we decided to use Wialon, and we're not changing it because Flespe is also very good, but our partners are used to Wialon configuration. So there's thing what has to be done. So the car has to be added to the Wialon and send information to the hosting Wialon. Then we identify the same car by EMA of the device, and the same EMA has to be added to our platform, and this is how we connect and get the Wialon ID of that car. And from that moment, using the API, we're getting every time the data messages from the Wialon. Then the important thing is sensors. So there are many different sensors in Wialon, but we are mostly interested in several of them. So one is ignition mode, because there might be some, I don't know, pricing differences if the engine is on or not. There might be the fuel for the monitoring, let's say fuel thefts, and not only for the monitoring, but to just inform the customer how much fuel left in a car before like taking it. and the mileage, because the pricing might be based on the distance, so the mileage is also interesting. So this is how you set in the Wialon all the sensors, and we read it every time. Then the other thing is the commands. Yeah. So if you want to control the device, so we're sending the commands. So in the Wialon, you simply create specific commands for the different device. There's commands might be different, the installation might be different in a different device. So you simply create commands in the Wialon, and we map them with the name of the command in our Qwekee platform. And that's all. In the Qwekee, you press a button, we activate one command from the Wialon. Now, I'll explain more about what's the use for the car sharing. It's not only like you imagine that the cars are parked in the street and you can take it. There are more cases where it could be used. So, car sharing operators are those who do business with the cars, they rent. But we have many different clients. For example, corporations. Yeah, they have own fleet, they have own employees, and they somehow now, I don't know, deliver those cars. They're doing some bookings, etc. So they could use car sharing for distributing the vehicles to the employees. So they don't need even to book in advance the car. So employees go to the parking lot, takes any available car in the parking lot, and goes, and the management gets all the reports. For example, car rental companies, right? Car rental companies, they are doing car rentals, but they're doing differently. They are taking reservation in advance for like 1 day, 1 week, whatever. So with our solution, we can automate the process of giving the specific vehicle to the specific customer. So imagine the customer has a reservation, he comes to the airport like 3 at night, right? So someone from the car rental company has to go to meet the client to give the keys and to take the signatures and take the, I don't know, copy of the driver's license. So with our solution, the car rental company can, I don't know, before like, I don't know, several hours or 1 day, enter the client details into the platform. Platform sends the notification to the client that he's been granted to access one of the cars. Client simply downloads the app, creates the profile and sees the active car. With navigation where to find it, and he goes to the car, presses the button to unlock the doors and driving. Yeah, taking the pictures of damages, that's all. So it saves a lot of, I don't know, human time and money. For example, real estate property owners. So we receive many inquiries from some countries, especially United States, where real estate companies, for example, they have own building with many apartments and they're renting for the tenants' apartments. Yeah, and as additional service for the tenants, they want to provide like 1 or 2 cars, which are always parked near the building, so tenants don't have to bring own park of the cars there. So it could be as an additional value, free of charge, or it could be as an extra service for money. Car dealers or workshops, for example, I don't know, if some of the client has broken his own car, he leaves the car for like repair for a couple of days, so workshop can, I don't know, simply enter client details and give some access to one specific car. It could be for like car dealers to even to promote. We had such requests like in one country, like marketing advertising company came to us and said like, we have client car dealer who wants to present new car model to the market. And they had the idea just simply to take some of the cars in the streets with the branded logos, etc. And clients can simply, I don't know, download a white label app just to get into the car to test it. So there are many different cases how it can be used. And not only for the cars, yeah, it could be used for electric cars, it could be used for scooters, it could be used for kick scooters. It's no difference. It could be even for boats, whatever. So you think of it. So now about our future plans. So we are now in the current solution we have. In this year, we're thinking about adding new, a little bit features, corporate calendar bookings. So it's a thing that corporate clients are used to work through the calendars. They're used to book the car for tomorrow, for example, 1 o'clock, yeah? And when they come to us and say, can I book a car for tomorrow? I said, no, it's against the car sharing idea, because if you want to utilize the car so it will not be sitting without use, so just take the car that's available at the moment. So, but since they're requesting, we'll probably be adding the calendar, so you can, I don't know, make some specific reservation in advance. Then, currently it's a standalone solution. I mean, we're communicating through the Wialon, but there is no like app in the Wialon. But we're thinking maybe next year to make the app in the Wialon, so we could simply take the fleet from the Wialon without duplicating it in our system. And I don't know, maybe the next year Wialon Space, but I didn't hear anything this year about Wialon Space, so I'm not sure what it is. I already mentioned that we value partner network a lot. So we already worked with many companies trying to do demos, some real cases with the partners all over the world. So we're really interested in extending our partners, because we rely on you. We don't sell the devices, we don't sell the installation. So we give this business to our partners, like you, and we share our profits with you. So thank you very much.
Some questions? No, I have one.
I want to mention one more thing. So even today I came with one demo car. The car is parked in the parking lot. So if anyone is interested, we can, after some, I don't know, session, we can go to the parking lot and I can show live how it works. Just find me.
Okay, what about speedings of driver when they drive?
Speeding?
Yes.
As I mentioned already, that we don't duplicate features Wialon has. So when customer wants some specific like reports or notifications, we say that it can be done through the Wialon. So you can create some notifications in the Wialon platform and get that information.
Okay. No, but, okay.
As far as I understood from the presentation, the cars itself are owned by the car rental company also. Is it a car sharing option where I can propose my car to be used during idle time? Or?
Technically, yes. So, I mean, you can propose your car, but it's then when we come to the question, who's first, hen or chicken? I mean, so if you will propose your single car to the market, there won't be, I don't know, many users who would be interested in that. I mean, so it has to be some huge amount of fleets added to the streets. But technically, yes. I mean, many people can get their cars to the streets and...
So I can propose my car to the operator? Yes? No?
Yeah, technically, yeah. But someone has to, I mean, technically we can make this business so many different fleet owners can work in the same area. It don't matter if it's 1 or 10 or 100 cars.
I have a question. You talked about your pricing model and I heard revenue share. So it's not a fixed charge. It's what?
It depends. We have very different options. One of the options, let's say, if the company wants to run the pure car rental business with own fleet and take money from the customers, and they want to use our cloud, we have also the payment gateway. So customers are paying money through our platform, and so in that case, we take commission from any reservation, right? So we share that commission with partner. For example, the basic solution, our commission is 20% from each sales. So we give our partner 5% from each reservation. If we're talking about corporate models, so then yeah, there are no money coming through this business, so we charge per vehicle, a subscription fee. We usually we offer the white label solutions or some custom solutions. So we can create the white label apps for the customer, some custom solutions as well. And we're also sharing commissions with the partner who brings us the client in the area.